We're going to make love now.
Hello. Hi guys.
Hello everyone.
Today we're going to talk about magic and our adverse reaction to magic. Why we're embarrassed to say we like magic, why we're ashamed to say magic, why people roll their eyes or mock it, what is that, why that might be, where does that come from?
So what is magic?
What is magic?
The one thing that we seem to all agree on this planet is that we don't know what's going on. There is no answer or
To our questions.
yeah, we've done experiment after experiment after experiment. We have meditated and prayed and all the rest of it, but we haven't settled on a single answer to sort of what this whole thing means. So magic is really sort of acknowledging and celebrating this great mystery and learning how to play with it. And it acknowledges the power that we have as, the mystery manifested to dream and create and love and play and all these amazing things and heal, all these amazing things that we can do while we are here in this form. Einstein said that you can either believe that everything is a miracle or nothing is a miracle. And we choose to believe that everything is a miracle, really, and that everything is magic.
So why are we embarrassed or ashamed or skeptical or cynical or, whatever? I guess it's funny because I think our hearts tell us something and then our minds tell us something else. So, for instance, the huge outpouring of love for Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I think practical magic was huge. I mean, I loved it. You loved it.
Yeah.
Didn't everyone want to be Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock in practical magic? So I think our heart, our inner child is very drawn to magic, but our minds tell us it's silly. So I think a big thing is that we live in a patriarchal society. And the thing about the masculine is that it's very direct, it's very practical, which are all great things, but it's also very yes, no, black, white, you're either with us or you're against us. We talk a lot about how we're more polarized than we've ever been before, but when you have a dominant structure that forces you to be on this side or this side, you're going to create these two sides.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that what I find a lot of people around me is that, they believe in the Big Bang Theory, as I do. I'm not, they believe in the Big Bang Theory. They're not religious.
Well, they actually say it's a big bounce now.
A big bounce. They're not religious, so they're like, so I can't believe in magic, because I'm in this camp and I can't go into this camp.
Yeah.
And magic isn't black or white. It's the grey area. I mean, it's not even the grey area. It's like out in the fairies. So I think that's one reason why we're all pretty skeptical and funny about magic. Another reason is obviously the burning of the witches and wizards. In some countries, I actually think Sweden, they burnt more wizards than witches. So it wasn't just it was a full attack on women, but anyway. But I think that's generational trauma, which we can now prove. But I think inside us, even if we don't realise, we've probably associated magic with danger. And more than just that, because there's still actually witch hunts going on all around the world.
And something dark as well. Sorry to interrupt.
Something
like
dark,
something like occult, devilish.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
You know what
how
I mean?
it's also been, that's another
Black
thing,
magic.
how it's been portrayed in pop culture. So the thing about the generational trauma is that, not only have we probably seen it as a dangerous thing and a dark thing, but we've also probably associated it with some sort of society exile. Like to like magic and to cast spells and to be a wizard, you are on the outskirts, and we know that to be exiled from society is a fate worse than death, because that's like our biological, we're pack animals, and if you're out of the pack, you're dead. But how it's been portrayed in pop culture as well, the witch is always, in the past, been the old ugly wench in the woods, you know, not the sexy Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock ones. It's always been like that. But The Wizard of Oz was actually quite modern in its approach, where it was kind of the first film that gave this idea of like a bad witch and a good witch, you know, and that kind of was, they say that was kind of the start of this new look on witches and magic.
Our recent history shows that we've really pulled away from religion, mainstream religion.
But we threw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah, we might have sort of got rid of the belief and faith aspect, which was actually very good for our souls to have a belief in something greater, in the great mystery. And we started to believe in science, and that if it couldn't be proven, then it didn't exist. So we almost saw the sort of the death of belief and faith in mainstream culture in the sort of 20th century.
There's a reason why we all celebrate Easter and Christmas. We're ritualistic beings while we have our coffee in the morning. You know, we crave ritual. And when we got rid of religion, like as David Bowie said, we left this big space in us that we had to that we didn't know how to fill.
Also, magic just isn't cool. Spiritual, you know, it's not. It's like
getting cooler now.
You know, in spite of like Harry Potter and this sort of
huge
massive growth in fantasy television and books
Sephora
and film.
doing little witchcraft packets. Like, it's getting cooler now.
Yeah, it's coming in. We're seeing it come into the mainstream more, but we're still at the beginning, I think, of that journey, and it's going to take some time for us to let go of our walls around it, which is very much a self sort of preservation thing. If you're trying to fit into a society which is largely atheist and cynical, it's going to take some courage to admit that you believe in magic.
Yeah, and that's a big thing as well. It's cool to be cynical, right? Like, it's cool to be cynical. It's cool. There's no two things about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about some really, really easy ways to bring magic into your life, which isn't freaky deaky and just easy, super easy. You can do them right now.
So 1, indulge your inner child.
Everything.
This is something we talk about quite a lot in our videos, but it's really about acknowledging the fact that your inner child, the child version of yourself, was a much more open, imaginative, believing creature than you are now. So getting in touch with your inner child and doing some of the things that you would have done as a kid. So like drawing or dancing, making up like little plays or dance routines, anything that you did as a kid, begin to explore that and indulge that.
And just for yourself, you know? I mean, I remember going over to a friend's house when I was little and his mum saying, oh, there's all fairies in the garden, and I didn't have a garden in my house. And it was just thrilling. I was like, oh my God, there's all fairies in the garden. And it's like, I think we always think that's for kids, but when you get older, you let that go. But I'm like, I mean, why? Like, the world is a magical place if you believe there's fairies in the garden.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. The second one is start casting spells. So the reason for this is that words have power. Words and thoughts have power. There's a reason they call it spelling. So what we put out into the world, what we say and think and believe, actually does come true. You know, if we only need to look back at history at what people were saying and thinking to see how that manifests. So start believing that you have power and start casting spells with your power in mind.
So another way to invite magic into your life is do a ritual. Super, super, super easy. So fun. I say this a lot on this channel, but like a full moon ritual, so easy. Just type in when's the next full moon wherever you are, and like just go and, especially as the weather gets better, I mean for us here in Australia it is, but like to go and sit out under the full moon. You don't need a backyard, you can sit on your front stoop and just light a candle and just say 3 things you want to let go of, you know, and just like look at that moon. I mean, God, if you don't look at that moon and think magic, you're dead. You know what I mean? It's so beautiful. Really simple way to do it as well, just lovely.
And the more you know about the moon, the more the more magical and fantastical it becomes. Like
fantastical.
You as women are synced up with the cycles of the
moon.
moon.
Synced up to the cycles. cycle
You
of
know,
the moon.
the whole, like, the Earth's tides and oceans
Yeah.
are controlled by the gravitational pull of the moon. You know what I mean? There's this symbiotic relationship that we have with the moon.
Magical.
Um,
And also, while
Yeah.
we're talking about the moon and things like this, I mean, the mystery also is that, like, you know, magic also kind of falls under this idea that, like, it's the impossible, making the impossible true, or believing in the impossible.
yeah.
But, like, you know, there's things that, like the sun is the perfect distance from Earth to keep us warm, but not kill us and burn us. The gravitational pull is the perfect, you know, to keep us here. The atmosphere is you know, like, all these things are, like, to a T perfect. I mean, that is in every degree impossible, but it's possible. That's why, you know, science and magic are not separate.
Yeah.
You see these mad scientists that are so excited and jizzed on life because they know that it's magic, you know? So the last thing to invite magic into your space is create a sacred space. We've done a video on creating an altar. Super beautiful, such a beautiful
Yeah.
an experience, such a beautiful process to create a little space that you make beautiful and safe, and it smells nice, and you light candles and you read there, or you study there, or you meditate there, or you talk, you know, you can talk to your sister on the phone there, or whatever. You can just sit there. But and for this, we really suggest, for inspiration, finding your local new age kind of shop. We have
Yeah.
so many around us. We've run on the corner, one just on the other side. And these shops are like, they were really pivotal in our magical adventure. Like,
Inspirational.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're so fun to be in them. They smell amazing. They got all these beautiful candles and incense and history books and crystals and wind chimes. It's just a really fun
Yeah.
place. It's like you feel like a child in there, but like where you don't have to say, "Mummy, can I have this?" You know, you can just have it. You just buy it.
If you're an adult.
So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Those are
Yeah.
our tips for inviting magic into your life. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah. Bye. We hope you enjoyed it.